Steiner taken up.
Film Fist.
Welcome to episode 6.
Episode 6, finally we have some actual action happen.
It's amazing. It was a really good episode, I thought.
Especially the van chase scene where they're in the van going down. How they filmed that was amazing.
Yeah, it was the best film that they've done, like the actual best filmmaking they've done in the entire show. It seemed to be from the passenger seat and the cameraman was just zooming back and forth. Really good.
I can see where the budget went.
Yeah, so they couldn't afford the last 3 episodes, so the last 3 episodes were just filler.
All went into the camera scene for this episode.
Yeah, there must have been 1 take, surely, or like 1 or 2 takes. It looked really good anyway.
How many times do you think it took them to get that right?
Oh, do you think sometimes you just get it first time and it's just pure luck?
And they were just like, that was really good, actually.
Yeah, it was really, really well done, 100%. It's the best episode we've seen this season, I thought.
Oh, yeah, by far. Which leads you on to the first question of, can the monsters be killed?
At the end of the episode, we see that Boyd's given his worms to Smiley,
Mm-hmm.
R.I.P. And yeah, so as you can
My
tell,
boy.
yeah, my boy Smiley. Yeah, it looks like Mr. Creeper has been killed. He looks pretty dead. He was choking on the floor. He reverted back to monster form a little bit, and then he hit the ground. And he looked pretty dead.
Bit like he's been poisoned.
Yeah, exactly. Like they've poisoned him, they've choked him, something like that. Either way, he was grasping at his throat, and he was like, which is where he'd cut him with the and put the worms into his actual throat. So it looks like they've killed him, and he's still there when the sun's coming up. It looks pretty dead to me.
Do you think the worms might give him superpowers and he comes back more jacked than ever?
I think this is the concern, that he wakes up and he's like the size of Mike Tyson and he's immune to something. You know how you like give bacteria like a disease and it like learns how to eat the disease and it gets even stronger. This is what's going to happen with the monsters. You're going to wake up and he's going to be like, daylight, not a problem.
Yeah, bench pressing 300 pounds, no problem in the sunlight.
Yeah, he's just like, talismans, they don't work on me anymore.
Breaks them and that just crumbles them in his hand.
Yeah, so there's a serious concern that they might have leveled up the monsters. They think it's a victory, but actually it's a Pyrrhic victory and they're just going to wake up and have created a level 2 monster.
Drop a like if you think Smiley's dead, or comment down below what you think is going to happen next, and have a chance to be read out on next week's episode. Martin did say in one of the early episodes that the monster just the first level. I wonder what the worms actually are then.
The monsters didn't seem scared of them until they saw what they could do.
Yeah, they actually left Boyd alone when they were looking down at Smiley, didn't they? They watched him and they watched the reaction.
Yeah, it was
they
like
looked at each other, yeah.
It was like they'd never seen it before.
Who, in your opinion, was the ballerina?
She is the music box piece, you know, the actual piece on the music box. She is, like, in person, the personification of that music box. But then she tries to, like, hold Boyd, and then she suffocates him. So
Really love-hate relationship, that one.
I know, which is how I feel about ballet in general. No, I don't know. I think it seems that Boyd is... Well, Father actually said it was a figment of his imagination, so Boyd does seem to be.
Father Catry, the imagination himself.
Yeah, Father actually said, I'm a figment of your imagination. So is the ballet also a figment of his imagination? And now that the worms are gone, is he just going to be totally back to normal? Or is he actually getting dementia?
It is interesting how quickly the ballerina came on. I mean, it's been 3 episodes of nothing, and then suddenly we see her every 5 minutes in this episode.
Yeah, she was all over the place. He's having visions left, right, and centre. Boyd has actually spent more time in non-reality than he spent in reality in this episode. Yeah, Boyd was losing it this episode, so I was quite glad to see him pass on the worms and get back to being the boss.
What would happen if that just didn't work, by the way? Like, what was his plan afterwards?
I don't know, because he was just going to die out there, and then he wouldn't have been able to transfuse blood anyway, so it seemed all kind of crazy. But he was so confident it would work, so I guess maybe he just knew.
What stopped the other monsters from just ripping them apart anyway?
I guess they would have, like, instantly died as well if they had started eating him.
But I guess if he's already given off the worms, what's stopping the ones behind? Apart from watching their man die.
I think they were just so like, what the? Smiley?
Oh my god, he was the main guy.
My dude, what's wrong? They're just like, go away. What's going on with Smiley? And then they were just like, okay. And then they just turned and walked off, didn't they? They're like, right, well, I'm not eating him tonight.
Still pretty lucky that Boy got rid of all of the worms before he then transfuses blood immediately after.
Yeah, but I guess you can say it's like, not great writing and everything, but everything that happens in this show is very calculated. It's like the people, not the producers, but the person on the radio, the voice at the other end. Everything seems to happen for a reason in this place. Not generally a good reason, but things happen. They're all very choreographed, aren't they? It's like, oh, well, Ellis is suddenly getting stabbed, and then suddenly he needs to get a blood transfusion. It's all just perfect for the next thing to happen. And you could say that's the writing, but you could also say it's the town manipulating what happens next.
That perfectly leads us on to the next question. Should Dale go in the box?
Dale is a character from season 1 who pops in and pops out. Most people forget that he's actually one of the people who used to hide with Donna before they found the talismans and everything. He's quite an old character.
He's also the guy that brings up parallel and pocket dimensions.
Yes, he is, isn't he? They're having a party in season 1 right before the massacre, and Ellis and him end up having a fight because Ellis gets too drunk and all this. So yeah, to be fair, the queue for the box is getting larger, but I line them up.
Everyone needs to take a ticket at this stage.
Yeah, they're going to go to a firing range instead, because this
gallows.
Yeah, it did make me laugh. In fairness, Fatima was so into capital punishment, but just for Sarah. She's such a hippie most of the time, but she was like, put her in the box.
I know. Considering they're all into peace, love, and forgiveness, the minute someone does something wrong, I mean, she did kill 4 people, but the minute she did something wrong, straight into the box. It's a bit left field, I'd say. A bit out of character, almost.
Yeah, I don't know where her morals are. They're all over the place.
The show. It doesn't make any sense.
Speaking of morals as well, I gotta say that I do like Boyd, but he is becoming judge, jury, and executioner himself, isn't he? He's there telling Kenny's mum, oh, I did what I thought was right. Oh, all I had to do was make things... He's kind of acting like he's the arbitrator of what's right and what's wrong. Yeah,
it's very much ends justify the means on Boyd for some reason. He does seem to go from the first season of, oh, I don't want to put anyone in there, to like, I decide who goes and who stays, really. So, okay, don't get in his bad side.
Yeah, Boyd's becoming a bit more of a badass, but at the same time, I'm not sure whether he
badass,
should be.
Dictator,
yeah, exactly.
Interchangeable words.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
Will they run out of food?
So Jim said that they've only got a month's worth of food left.
Yeah, he starts freaking out and he says, yeah, there's only a month left, and Donna tries to push back on him because... why would it help if people start freaking out? People need to know. No, they don't, Jim. It just freaks people out.
Donna's whole attitude to this kind of like one of those tech CEOs who lay off everyone over Zoom. She's kind of like, oh, they don't need to know. They don't need to know.
Yeah, but it's better than Jim, who seemingly is losing his mind. Like, he's become such a worrier and so much just complaining. I mean, he complained in the first season, but now it's just taking it up a level, and then he's just like, yeah, but they might be watching every time. It's like, Jesus Christ. Even if they are, Jim, like...
he has become really paranoid, hasn't he? He's like, oh, this is just what they'd want. They just want us to get the stress levels up.
To the point where even Ethan just ignores him and goes, we're running out of food.
Oh, yeah, Ethan's like 5 sentences behind.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. It's like he's got a delay on him.
Yeah, Donna had a good episode, but she's rationing the food, she's replanting the food. There is a food crisis going on, which makes you wonder whether the town is going to force them to find somewhere else to live. Because it already basically made Colony House not that livable anymore. And now the town's running out of food. It is saying that they're going to have to go out, aren't they? They're going to have to go into the forest and they're going to have to find new ways to live, surely.
The issue with this town is it doesn't quite make you live in a new place when there's more people. It just gets rid of the people. So I wonder if, I don't know, Red Wedding's going to be a mass killing and then suddenly, everyone's got enough food again.
Yeah, I was slightly disappointed not to have the Red Wedding this episode. I thought that everyone was quite hyped up for this episode, and they were like, oh, this is going to be a really good one. I've heard really good things about this episode. I was there going, oh, yeah, it's the Red Wedding. I can't wait.
It was good, but for different reasons.
It was good for very different reasons, yeah. So the Red Wedding still might happen, but it's not this episode. I don't know if it'll be the next one either. I think it might even be the season finale at this point. But it's going to be a big episode, I hope, anyway. But interestingly enough, talking about the wedding between Fatima and Ellis, Fatima might be pregnant.
Yes, very interesting towards the end. We get a little, do you have a pregnancy test? Can you imagine trying to raise a child in that place?
I'm surprised that they can conceive in a place like that.
Does that mean Ethan's on the chopping block? Because there's only one child at a time.
Oh, yeah, you got a point there. There's no babies either.
He hasn't seen the boy in white for a while.
No, he hasn't. We mentioned that. There's no mention or sight of the boy in white. Yeah, we haven't seen him anywhere near as much this season anyway. No. He's sort of gone off there. He's gone off for a bit, hasn't he? He's taken a break.
Ethan's just kind of doing monologues on and why he's scared and why he doesn't want to be in the quest, which just kind of makes you roll your eyes of like, okay, we get it. But we haven't seen many people such as Sarah or Victor and their visions.
Yeah, no, this
season, really.
Yeah, exactly. This episode was really focused on Boyd, Kenny, Christy, and it didn't have anything with Jade, didn't have anything with the guy on the bus, who I want to see what he's up to. We don't actually know what they've been up to this night, because the whole night has passed, hasn't it? We don't know what they did. So I wonder if...
Also, when they were in the minivan driving down, they seemingly driving in very weird... Like, I don't know how the town is laid out, if they've gone... Like, where did the road go?
I don't know, but the road had, like, tree branches and stuff going on it.
Yeah.
It just didn't seem like a main road.
On the poster, Colony House is just at the top, and then you just drive straight down into town on the paved. Where did the trees go? That's another point. The trees changing. Seemingly seasons are now changing, and Boyd says he's never seen that. I wonder if this is town almost, I don't know, maybe losing energy, losing power?
Yeah,
maybe we start losing some electricity.
Ooh, yeah, some really interesting ideas there. Yeah, the trees are deciduous, they're starting to turn red and oranges, which means it's sort of turning into fall time. So that's pretty interesting. I've never seen that before. It's probably always been summer there.
Maybe if they get to winter, it's game over.
Winter is coming.
Too many Game of Thrones references now.
The end of this show will be decided by a small girl with a small knife
White
who can
walkers.
change her face.
Right, let's go on to some comments. The dude says, the children in the woods are drowning victims. What's your thoughts?
So are they drowning victims? I'm not sure. I think their clothes look burned, personally. Having looked at them, their hair's kind of missing and stuff. They look more like they're burn victims than drowning victims. I don't know. I'm not an expert in corpses, but...
Really? You sure?
Yeah, much to my teacher's surprise.
What do you do on the weekends?
Much to people's surprise, I'm not an expert in corpse. But yeah...
Especially in the horrific ways of either drowning, radiation, or burning.
Yeah, my day job as a police crime scene detective. No, I don't know what they'd look like, but I think they look kind of like they're supposed to have been burned rather than drowned.
They could be drowned, but they could be stuck under the water. Maybe they're corpses. I think the fishes have been feeding.
I mean, one theory that we've read is that they are in the lake behind Colony House. You know, the one that Elgin goes and he's like, oh my god.
That's a good point, actually.
So it'd be interesting if someone dives down and sees if there are
4
any...
children.
Yeah, and they're like...
the fully equipped diving gear that they have on hand. Maybe that's where the rapids are. Maybe they're in the bus.
Yeah, maybe. Honestly, maybe. It's an interesting avenue, and I hope they do explore it. But to me, they look like burn victims, so I think we'll find, more likely, if they even bother to go into the details of what these monsters are, that there was a fire.
It'd be a bit annoying if they don't. They built them up for a long time.
I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know.
I want to know what happened to them.
What about you? What do you think? Drowning or burning or what?
No, I see that as a good connection between Elgin, the lake out back. I wonder how the game of, like, Jenga fits in, though. That's the only one that kind of wrinkles that theory.
Yeah, it's just like a puzzle and a house falling down.
How does that relate to the lake? Unless that relates to Colony House and Colony House was rebuilt. That's just off the top of my head. So. Right, next comment.
So Sandra Swartz said, maybe Christopher took all the talismans and hid them where Boyd later found.
Christopher is the guy who owned the journal in the photo with young Victor. But surely Victor would then know that there was talismans in the town at the time?
Yeah, but Victor doesn't tell anyone anything. Gets too upset, doesn't he?
Good point. You just think that if something like that did happen and Christopher had all the talismans or had all the things, you'd think Victor would be like, oh, yeah, creatures used to come out at night back then, but Christopher did a mad one and hid all the talismans, didn't he?
Did a mad one. Yeah, should have at least mentioned them. He does seem relatively surprised when Boyd comes back with the talisman. So I don't know if he did know about them, but he would have been a kid at the same time.
Suppose.
I don't know. I think it's a good theory because why else would the talismans all be together in one cave? It's a good theory linking together why this mystery.
I wonder why that cave as well. That man-made cave, because it is stone built. I wonder if that particular area also has some interest. Because we've never revisited that area before.
Yeah, Boyd just walked past it.
Yeah.
That's it. When he's with Sarah. He finds it really easily and just walks past it. It's like, this is where I found the talismans. But it is just like a little cave, it looks like.
Very strange. Unless there was only one person that was ever there.
Nice.
You think he would have put a door on. All the dangerous creatures roaming those woods. And he's just like, yeah, I'm just going to leave the door wide open.
Yeah,
Nothing can go wrong.
But they couldn't go in, could they?
Yeah, but just not them. What about the giant spiders?
Ah, yeah, true. What about the level 2 monsters? Just don't know.
Yeah. What a little door.
I think it's a good idea. Possible. I think we'll leave it with possible.
Alright, that's all we have time for today, everyone.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and tell us, do you think the monsters can be killed?